Hi guys, welcome to Crafty Aims Workshop. My name is Amy and today we are going to make a super long stocking cap. I'm going to do fuchsia and purple. We're going to need our clay pins that we made the other day, so check out that video. We're going to need our knitting loom, and we're going to need scissors. We're going to need the knitting hook. Possibly are going to need a crochet hook. And then we're going to need a yarn needle. And that is to sew in the ends. If the crochet hook doesn't work, we'll have to use this. What we're going to do is we're going to start with purple first. And we're going to do 30 rows of purple, and that's going to be the brim of the hat. So what you're going to do is we're going to do 2 strings. So what I'm doing is I'm just using 1 skein here, and this is I love this yarn, I think is what it's called. But what we're going to do is we're going to use 1 end from each side, or you can get just 2 skeins if you want, whatever's easier for you. So you're going to go around and you're going to go up through, grab it, but don't let the tail come all the way out. Hold on to it with your 2 fingers right there, and then just pull it. And where we're going to put that right now for the time being, it's not going to stay there permanently, but on your knitting loom, which is, this one is a 36 peg, all you do is wrap it around and pull it so and the reason we're doing this is so when you're going around this ring, it's not going to fall off and make a mess. All I'm going to do, the first round is all I'm going to do is wrap it around, wrap it around, wrap it around, and just keep doing that over again. Don't make it real tight. If you make it tight, it's going to be harder to put over the other loops that you're making. So this is how I do it. I go all the way around first. Some people, they do one thing at a time. I don't do that. I think it's faster to do it this way. Okay, so we've gotten to the other side. So what we're going to do now is push them down. We're going to go around again, starting with the very first peg we started with. That starts right here. We're not using that peg, but that's our starting point. That's where we know where we started, and just start wrapping it around again. You're going to wrap it on top of the other one that you just did. Make sure it is loose. Make sure all of your pegs have 2 loops on it. Right here where you have that peg right there, you're just going to hold it with your finger or your thumb and take your knitting loom hook. I do the last one first, so that this string doesn't unravel the whole thing again. And then I go and I do the first one. All you're doing is you're hooking the bottom loop and you're pulling it over the top loop. That's all you're doing. You can scooch it down right then, or you can wait, but take your bottom loop, pull it over the top loop, and you're going to do that over and over and over again. Okay, so we're to the end, and all we're going to do is we're going to mush them down. Now you can start the second. So we're going to start with the peg on the right side of the side peg. So we're going to start right there. And you're just going to wrap it around all the way around. Make sure you hold on to it, because if you loosen it a little bit, it'll just let go like that. So we come to the end again. So that's the last one. That's the first one. last first. We're going to pull it down like that. And I'm going to do wrap or pull the bottom loop over the top loop on the last loop. That way this string isn't going to unravel like you just saw earlier. And we're just going to do this again for 30 rows. Thumb on the bottom, hook up, and go over. Over. It's just faster that way. And you can see right now we're starting to get a design going, and that's what you're wanting. And it's going to be coming in through the middle. Nothing is going to be on the outside. It's just going to come through the middle. So let me go ahead and do the 30 rows and I'll come back. Okay guys, and I forgot to tell you, once you get a row or two on, you can go ahead and loosen this off of the peg. You don't need to keep that on there. If you keep it on there too long, you'll see like it is right now. It's just holding on, and it's just going to keep holding this up here, and this is all going to grow like that. So you need to take it off eventually within like the first couple rows. If you want to know how to count your rows, this is what I do. I'll pull it down a little bit. And I'll put it against something bright where you can see the lines, because I'm going to be counting lines. So on this, let's get my needle. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 rows already. Okay, I've got my 30 rows. You can count them. And what we're going to do now is fold it up. And we're going to attach the end of this to the ring. That's going to become the brim of the hat. So let's line it up. Make sure we're getting the right row here. Okay, hopefully this is close enough. So we're just going to take the very end loop, the very first loop that we made, wrapped it around. We're going to put it on and just connect them. Okay, so all of the loops are on the loom now. And so all you're going to do, see, so that's going to be the brim. So all we're going to do is we already have 2 loops now. We're just going to go through. We don't have to wind it again. We're just going to go ahead and pull it over. It's pretty hard to make a mistake, though. It can happen. But I started doing this because I couldn't make hats worth diddly squat. Every time I tried to crochet a hat, it would turn into the most humongous bowl. I call them big salad bowls. And so it was useless. I couldn't use it. I'd have to rip it all out and try and start again, which of course that means I'm adding stitches. But anyways, so I found this technique using the knitting loom, and voila, I've got hats that I'm making. And it's just easier. You don't have to think about it. It's just better. I like it. And I like the style. I like the design that it makes. And this is just the basic stitch here. I've seen other people doing other stitches that you can do just like you would with knitting. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to change the color now, because this is now connected. We don't have to worry about this. So I'm going to cut the end, and now I'm going to start with the fuchsia. All I'm doing is I'm going to connect these together. going to tie it together, and I'm going to try to make the knot as close to the stitching already there. And I'm just going to go around and around and around and around again. Okay, so I'm holding it on with my thumb again. I'm doing the last loop that we just wrapped, and I'm pulling it over, and then going to the first loop and pulling it over. And there you have it. And we're going to do this one 15 times, 15 rows. Okay guys, I have finished the 15 rows. Unfortunately, I made a big boo-boo. Even after me telling you that you can't make boo-boos, here I went and made a boo-boo. So I had to rip everything out and start again. The problem was when I started the next color, of course, I cut off the purple and, as you've seen, attached the pink. Well, when I re-stitched everything, I did it looser than I did the first time, and so I ran out of purple, and now I have a small section here that is pink that should have been purple. But you know what? We're going with it. I don't care. Next one is going to be, this one was 15 rows. This stripe is going to be 14 rows. This is also the row that I have to start splitting the hat, and then at the end we'll sew it together. So we're going to decrease the stitching, and we're going to decrease the row. First thing we're going to do is take off a stitch on each end. What you're going to do is you're going to bring this over to this one on this peg over to this one, and then we're just going to start winding it. So you're going to have 3 loops on this one and 2 loops on the rest. 3 loops, and the rest are going to have 2. So let's go ahead and wind it up. We're going the opposite direction. Okay, now we're going to take both of these together and pull it over. We're going to pull both of these together and pull it over. Alright, so that's going to begin the slit from here up. At the end, we'll sew it together. Okay, we did 15 rows on this one. This one we're going to do 14 rows. So we're just going to decrease it by 1 row. So let's start again. Okay, so there's the start of it, and when I get done with these 14 rows, I'll come back and we'll go to the next stripe. Okay, so we have finished the 14 rows of the 3rd stripe, if you want to count the brim as a stripe, which I am. So 3 stripes now. So we're going on to the next stripe, which is going to be fuchsia again, and we're going to decrease the stitching again on each side, 1 stitch on each side, and we're going to decrease the size of the stripe. So this one was 14 rows. The next one we're going to do is 13 rows. Now on stripe 7, I'm going to start doubling the pegs that we're going to get rid of. So we're going to take this one, bring it here, okay, and then take both of those and bring them over to this one. So 2 on this side, so you're going to have 3 sets of loops. Make sure all the loops are on there. 3 sets of loops there. we're going to do bring 2 over, and you're going to have 3 sets of loops over here. Make sure all the loops are there. Okay, and then we're just going to continue to do what we've been doing. Add on your next color, and then take all 3 of these, loop it over 1, and then begin your round. Take all 3 of these, loop it over the next color, and continue around. And we're going to do 10 rows of the next color. So my next color is going to be purple. So 10 rows of purple, and we're getting rid of 2 pegs on each side. Okay? So we'll go ahead and get that started. Now we're just going to combine the rest of these together. So let's just go ahead and do that. One on one side. We're just using the same color. No reason to. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move that over 1. Move that over 1. I am going to go ahead and wind it once. And then combine those 2 together. Okay, now you're down to 1 loop. And all you're going to do with that is wrap that around again. Lift it over. We're going to cut the tail, and we're going to pull that through. And then pull. And that is finished. You can either leave these extra strings, at least here, from here up, you can leave these, cut them down short, and just leave them, or you can cut them short, a little bit short, and then just sew it into the material. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. So you're just threading them into the large yarn needle, or just a large needle. Take this, and I'm going to go across this way, and I'm just going to slide it through. Now don't go deep enough where you're going to see it. See, you see the needle right there? So you want to go just deep enough to where it's hidden. And really, for this, it doesn't have to be hidden on the inside, it has to be hidden on the outside. So, and that's good right there. So I'm going to pull it through. And that's good right there. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. This just keeps it held down so you don't have to see it. Sometimes, like with blankets, they do pop out, so you'll have to thread them back through. I've even heard of people just knotting these really, really, really well, and then just chopping them almost to the end. I mean, you could do that, I guess. but I prefer to just hide it in there or just leave it if you're able to leave it. Okay, now we are going to sew the hat together. So I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm going to work from the bottom to the top. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm using one piece of string, one color of yarn, and then just start doing a whip stitch. So I'm just going to grab like the two top ones here, because I don't want to see it on the other side. So let's see what it looks like when I do this. Just sliding it through. I have just a little bit of a tail left. And because I started here and there's still a little spot right there, I'm going to go down and then I'll go back up. So I'm going to go back, so I went through this way, and I'm going to bring the string back this way and go through the top stitches there, and then just bring it through. Okay, and then pull just a little bit. I'm going to do one more because there's still a little spot there. Okay, so there's that. Tie these two pieces together. And later we'll come back and sew it in. So we're going to go with each color changing. Now I know there's probably some other way to do this. I don't know it. So if anybody else has suggestions, please let me know. So I'm just going to whip stitch it on there. Okay, so I've got that sewed up. So we've got pink, we've got the purple. Now I left the pink string long on here. I didn't cut it off. And what I'm going to do is just thread it through on the top layers of the purple like this. I'm just going to thread it through, so you're not going to see it on the front. But this is a way where you don't have to keep cutting, reattaching, blah blah blah. You can just, it's already there. Let's just use it. I think this is easier and faster too. Okay. Then I kind of stretch it a little bit because I don't want it to be real firm right there. Okay, so I'm leaving the purple string out to the side. I'm finishing up putting this through. Can't see it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the pink. And at some points you may need to just let the string hang and let it untwist because it gets twisted up from doing the whip stitch, which is fine. And just go back and continue. Okay, I've got it all sewed up. This is the seam. I turned it right side out. Now what we're going to do is the ball on the end, the yarn ball. So what I'm going to do is use a book. If you have, you can use anything. You're trying to wrap it around something. If you have like a old tin or something round, use that. I'm going to use a book. It's just easier. I've got 4 strands, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping it around this book. This might be too much, but what this is going to do, when we get done, there's going to be 2 balls, and then I'm going to put the 2 balls together to make it one big ball. So it's going to be pretty cool looking. Okay, I think that might be okay right there. And that is the thickness of the yarn that I've got. Let's just chop off the strings. I'm going to use a separate string, tie them together on this side. Tie it as tight as you can, because you want them to fluff out as best you can. Okay, maybe one more time. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side with the second string. So now what I'm going to do is just start chopping from the side. Okay, so you've got one big long thing here, but we're going to cut it directly in the center again. So I think I'm going to go with a little bit at a time. There we go. Careful not to cut the hat that you just did. Alright, so now we've got 2 floppy things. So what we're going to do with that, should have a few long strings from tying it together. And if not, wrap another string around it. And we're just going to take those strings from the one thing and tie them together. Easy peasy. Knot and tie, knot and tie. Okay, so that's pretty good like that. So now we've got a big floppy thing. Now what I normally do is trim it up just a little bit. You don't have to, but I like to trim it. So all I'm doing is I'm picking it up, letting it hang, and then just trying to get all of the pieces about the same length. Okay, and then I'll turn it again and make sure all of them are the same length. Okay, so I'm going to take another piece of yarn because obviously I clipped the one I shouldn't have clipped. Oh well. And I'm going to reattach it to this. I'm going to take it and take my needle, thread the 2 ends on there. You know what, let's go in the center first, because I want it to be directly on the end. And push the needle back through. I'm going to pull as hard as I can so it's on there really good. Weave it back through the middle of those 2. And then poke it back through the middle again. and pull as tight as you can, and then just totally go bring it inside out. So this ball is going to be on the inside for just a minute. Okay, now we've got the end right here. I'm going to attach it to some of the strings that I had left loose on the end. I'm going to tie those together. And I'm going to additionally, just for security purposes, attach it, just kind of whip stitch it a few times just to ensure. I mean, this is, and then I'm going to knot that. And there we go. And on this, I'm just going to clip it. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and I'm going to bring the ball back through, and I'm going to bring it right side out. So once you get your ball on there, if it still looks uneven, kind of shake it. Make sure it's how you like it. Trim it if you need to. I do see a spot here I need to trim. And you are done. So you've got yourself a stocking cap, and this one's super long. You could probably, I'm gonna put it on so you guys can see. But that might be long enough to wrap around your neck for a scarf. I don't know. But look at that, isn't that cute? Okay, where's my seam? There's my seam. And since I made that mistake there, I'm going to see if we can just keep it on the side. Keep the seam on the side. I don't think it really matters. You can put the seam directly in the back when you're wearing it, or on the side. It doesn't really matter. I've got my snowman that I made the other day that you guys saw in a video or two back. You can take your little snowman, or you can do like I did for my daughter. Get a patch and iron the patch on, and then I would sew it on too, because it's not going to stay on this very well, so sewing it would be best. So you can take your little snowman and attach it to the brim. And if you don't like the snowman after a while, you can take it right back off because it's just pinned on. I'm just going to do one snowman. I don't know, you could probably do two, it would still look good. I'm just going to do one. So let me show you what it looks like on. Okay, here's the finished project. It feels really good. I mean, it's not even too heavy. You would think it would be kind of heavy, but I mean, it's a little heavy, but not bad. You could wear it just in the back like this. It goes down almost to my butt. And then when you bring it forward, it goes down to my stomach. So let me know how this goes for you. If you have any comments, I would love to hear from you. Comment below. I'm going to try to put all of the supplies that I use and more description of how to make this in the comments or on the description below. If you like this video, please like with the thumbs up and subscribe to me so you can see more videos. I try to put a video up every Thursday of something crafty or a flip through or just anything in the crafty arena. So let me know what you think, you guys. Love you all.